on Facebook and everyone who's watching on YouTube. I can't see who you are, but I'm glad to see you are watching. And I'm really looking forward to taking you through this little sequence of things that you can do at home to ease your own pain and stiffness. So if you have some sort of ball, if you have a ball of any kind, it could be a racquetball, tennis ball, golf ball, could be one of those little massager balls. All right. Okay, well, that's creative. I like it. You got an orange. That's very creative.
Which one is better? I don't know which will work.
Probably the orange. And I'll think about it. You know, the other one we might use for some of the other things.
It's a squishy foam thing.
Yeah. Okay, that could work. She's got like a little football, like one of those little Nerf footballs. All right, we're gonna get creative today. So if you have an iron, like a, what are those called for baking? It's not an ironing pin, a rolling pin. There we go. I wanted to call it an ironing pin. If you have a rolling pin, then that will be helpful as well. But if you don't have it, it's okay. I'll walk you through how to do some things using your hands to relieve your tension. And I want to just briefly discuss vibrating tools. All right, so vibrating, so while people are going to find a ball or a rolling pin or something like that, if you have a massage stick, that's great. These are great tools. So grab your massage stick if you have it. Also, a little later on, we're going to use cups. Okay, so a little bit later, we're going to use cupping. And if you want to learn how to use these and try it out, then if you have a set of these silicone cups, you can go grab those right now. If you don't, you'll just learn. You'll see how this works, and you might want to get some for yourself because cupping is magic, total magic, especially really good for shoulders and knees. All right. If you are going to cup along with me, then you can use coconut oil or something that's really slippery. Okay, so welcome, Jonathan. I can't see you either, but it's good to see you on the Zoom call. Welcome, welcome. All right. If you want me to see you, then you can enable your video. If you don't, that's totally fine. So the way this works for the people on the Zoom class, if you have any questions as we're going along, sometimes it's nice to be able to ask the question right in the flow of the class, and that's totally fine. You can do that. Okay. It won't interrupt. I won't forget what I'm talking about. And it won't interrupt the flow. Okay. If you want to save your question for the end, for the Zoom participants, we're going to have a exclusive question and answer session. Okay. So I'll say goodbye to everybody on Facebook and YouTube, and we'll go through our question and answer at the end. Okay. So vibrating tools can be highly effective. Today we're going to use 3 different types of ways to release your soft tissue. I'm going to just discuss vibration, so I guess we'll only use 2. We're going to talk about compression, using balls, using a rolling pin or a stick. You can also use a soft foam roller, but we're not going to go over that today. And you can use cupping. So cupping uses suction to release stiffness in your soft tissue. And the way your body is designed, you have connective tissue and muscles. So your connective tissue is little tubules, and it provides structure for your body. And when I say tubules, I mean there's fluid that runs through them, and they're also an information superhighway. So your connective tissue is like a matrix. And if you'd like to see some pictures of what connective tissue looks like in a living human being at the microscopic level, you can go to my website and go to facts. And I have a bunch of videos on there that you can investigate. It's very interesting. The connective tissue surrounds your nerves. It surrounds your blood vessels. It surrounds your spinal cord. It surrounds your brain. It provides protection and structure. It also surrounds your muscles, your muscle fibers, and at the microscopic level, it actually literally attaches your muscles together, even all the way down to the most microscopic level. So connective tissue used to be viewed before we could really analyze it in depth like we can today. It used to be viewed as packing material, but it's far more than that. It's literally everywhere, and it's a matrix. And we didn't know this until about 10 years ago, which is a blip in the scheme of medicine. So that means there's still probably physicians out there that don't know this, but connective tissue actually contracts. It's not just an inert structure. So connective tissue contracts, so that means it shortens and lengthens. It has a special mechanism that it does that with, and so does muscle. And so that's really important to understand, because if you're only doing techniques that help muscle to relax, but not addressing connective tissue specifically, then that may be the reason you still have pain and stiffness. Okay. So vibration, what it does is it stimulates the release of hyaluronic acid. And give me a little wave or a thumbs up if you've heard about hyaluronic acid. So you can even give me that, reach out on Facebook, YouTube, give me a thumbs up or a wave if you've heard of hyaluronic acid. Some of you are really into nutrition and health and everything. Maybe you've heard of it. Yeah. Okay. Jonathan has. Cool. So hyaluronic acid actually bathes your joints, and it creates this, it's a lubricant for your joint. It's kind of like WD-40 for your joints. Okay. It's also, it bathes all of your soft tissues as well. So it's I call it the slidey glidey stuff. Okay. And it's slippery slidey. So vibration helps to activate your body naturally producing it and releasing it, which is huge, because you could actually take hyaluronic acid pills, which I used to do, and they did help my joints. But now I don't take the pills because I just use vibration. So it was a one-time $40 purchase instead of a $40 a month purchase. This is way better, obviously. And unfortunately, though, if you've had surgery anywhere in your lower extremity, like your knee or your hip or your ankle, and you have metal in your legs or metal in your back, you're not going to want to use one of these vibrating balls. So you'll have to come up with some other ways to stimulate hyaluronic acid release. And the good news is you can, using some compression. It's not quite as good as this, but you can. So the other thing vibration does is it kind of shakes apart layers that are stuck. You can imagine that, right? If you have layers of tissue stuck together and you shake it, it's probably going to loosen up. Okay, so it does that. And we have research that shows that vibration actually stimulates increased blood flow, which is really important for healing and for promoting a healthy environment for your cells. And at the cellular level, your muscles are cells, nerves are cells, and cells really don't like to be crammed together, and they don't like it when there's not flow around them. That creates an unhealthy environment for your cells, which can result in cancer, and it can also result in pain. Okay. What's also interesting is that connective tissue, like I said, it's a fiber optic matrix. So connective tissue actually transmits information faster than your nerves do. And your connective tissue responds to your emotions. So you've probably noticed, if you're really nervous, suddenly getting that catch in your throat, or you've noticed that heavy feeling in your chest associated with grief. That's connective tissue responding to your emotions. And sometimes that emotion doesn't fully, it's like the moment passes, but the body holds on to the tension. Okay? It doesn't fully let go unless you know how to release it all the way. And you can go get a massage. But right now, not many of us can go get a massage, right? And you might go get a massage and maybe you get only, partial result, or not the result that you're hoping for. So the really neat thing about these techniques I'm going to show you is it's something you can do for yourself. And it's very empowering, and that's really important to me, is to empower people, because it's been life-changing and a game changer for myself. I used to need to get a massage at least every week because so much stuck stress would develop in my body, from emotional reactions, from anxiety, from working out, And now I get a massage like maybe once or twice a year, and I feel great. And if I stop feeling great, then I have tools that can help me feel good again. So that's my little carrot for you all about, what's possible for you. But I will tell you, it didn't happen overnight, and it certainly didn't happen in one class. It took time, because it took time for me to develop some of the areas of tension that had been layers upon layers of tension. And when you have layers upon layers of tension, then it develops a shortening in certain areas and a lengthening in others. It develops weak muscles. And so this Ease Pain and Stiffness class is part of the answer. If you have pain, if you have stiffness, part of the answer is release the stuck tissue. The other part of the issue is get the muscles to remember how to work right again. Because if they've been trapped, stuck too short or stuck too long, that means that they don't remember how to work correctly. And unless you have an expert kind of guide you through how to get those muscles activated again, you're likely to do too much exercise or not the right kind of exercise and end up in more pain. So anyway, today we're going to go over how to release stuck tissue. So excited to show you guys. So you obviously, most of you, or maybe all of you, don't have a vibrating tool, but there's tons of different things out there. I have some recommendations. You know how Amazon has this amazing return policy. So what I did when I first learned about vibration is I bought a whole bunch of different vibrating tools and I just tried them all, and I picked my favorites. And so my favorites are the ones that are in my clinic, and they're also the ones I recommend to my clients. In addition, I did my doctoral research on vibration and how it can be used to help people heal. So I learned quite a bit about it. So even the ones I selected online were based on what research I had read about what works most effectively for various things. There's certain vibrational frequencies that are better for certain things and not for others. So if you're interested in learning more about vibration, you can ask for a free guide. Just email me at nicole@andersonswpt.com. If you forget the email, go to my website and just contact me and ask for a free report on how to use vibration to help you heal. Okay, so we talked about vibration. Now let's do some compression. So one of the things that I love to do is blow people's minds. I love to show you how connected your body is in these ways that you would never expect, and show you how we can actually relieve pain and stiffness in your neck by releasing stiffness in your hands. We can relieve pain and stiffness in your neck by releasing stiffness in your legs. So we're going to go through that, and you're going to be, whoa, you're going to be surprised. So today, because I'm doing cupping, I'm going to show you guys how to do cupping on the knees. Today I'm wearing this really cool outfit. I was seeing clients today, and then I was wearing kind of skinny pants, and then I realized, uh-oh, I'm not going to be able to pull these up. Shoot. So anyway, that's why the funny ensemble. Okay, so we are going to start with an assessment. So you're going to start with just sitting still, and you're just going to turn your head. Don't force anything. And I just want you to notice what you feel. Okay? So just take a little notice. All right, and then we're going to bring our hands together. And then we'll let our fingers drop back. We're going to press in, and then we're going to turn under. And we're just going to notice how our wrists feel as we're pressing in and as we're turning under. All right. Then we're going to do some techniques and see how we feel afterward. So I teach on Monday nights a melt class. It's called Ease Pain and Stiffness on my website. But I'm going to change that to melt, because on Monday nights I've been doing just all melt. Okay, melt stands for myofascial energetic length technique, and we use a really soft roller. I'm just going to show you real quick. So we use this, and it's very comfortable. So if you've ever tried a foam roller before and you didn't like it, you will like this roller. All right, and there's over 50 things that we can do, different techniques we can do with this roller to set your body free. It is awesome. We also use specialized balls, little soft balls that are melt balls that we use to release, and we use specific techniques. So today I'm not going to teach you melt. Today I'm going to teach you how to release your soft tissue using some other kinds of myofascial techniques. But my little encouragement is check out the Monday night class, because if you think this stuff that you're learning today is good, you're going to be really wowed by the melt class. Okay. So we already did our assessment. You're going to take whatever little ball you've got. I really like the OPTP mini ball. It's a little bit squishy. And Kathy, instead of using your orange, I'm going to have you just use your fingers. Okay. So what's nice about a ball is that you don't have to like use your hands to release the stiffness in your hands, right? That's what's nice about it. But if you don't have a ball, you can still do it. Okay. So if you have no ball, what we're going to do is we're just going to use your thumb like this, and you're just going to do some little circles. So I'm doing little circles like this. Okay. If you have a ball and it's small enough, it doesn't have to be as squishy as this. It could be a golf ball. Then we're going to, I like to rest my hand on my lap and just do some circles like this. And just think of fluffing your fascia. We don't want it to be painful at all. So with all the techniques we do today, we do not want it to be painful. The reason for that is if you're doing a painful technique, now we're going to move over to this side. If you're doing a technique that's painful, then your body is going, I don't care how tough you are, there's going to be some tension that develops with that. And we are trying to de-stress. We're trying to let go of tension. Also, if it's painful, it tends to kick off the fight or flight response, which is not going to help your body to digest or to heal. We want to be in our rest digest side of our nervous system, which is the parasympathetic side of your nervous system. And that's what's going to promote your body's own natural ways of healing itself. So these techniques help with that. They help shift you over to parasympathetic. All right, we're going to do some circles in the muscles below your thumb. And then we're going to go and do circles below the little finger. Good. And then we're just going to go back and forth. So if you don't have a ball, then what I would do is just do a little pressure here, a little pressure here, just kind of go back and forth. If you have a ball, you can move the ball back and forth like this. Nice. Okay. Then the next technique we're going to do is some work to open up our forearms, to release our forearms. Okay. So find the area where your extensor muscle is biggest. Okay, so it's going to be just below your elbow joint, right here. And you can just do 2 fingers, some little circles here like this, and then 2 fingers up and down, side to side. If you have a ball, you use the ball. You do circles. This feels really good. Okay. Then, one of the things I like to do, this is a massage technique. You're going to grab the tissue with both fingers, with your hand like this, and just pull. Okay. So you're just kind of grabbing and pulling. You can do the same thing on the underside. Grab and pull. Feels good. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So if you don't have any melt equipment, you can still do the class if you have a foam roller or if you have some little balls. So if you don't have any little balls, you can order from Amazon the mini ball or the maxi ball. I would recommend the mini ball. It's got the most versatility. That's all you need to participate in the class. I'm still just grabbing and pulling. And now I'm going to go on the underside here. You can also, if you have a foam roller, you can use your foam roller. But again, I mean, I get people that get nice results even with the foam roller, but it's going to be better with the melt roller, and you're going to enjoy it more. One of my favorite quotes from somebody who attends my melt class is she said, "I feel good while I'm doing it, and I feel better than when I walked in after I do it." So doesn't that just make you want to try it, right? So that's why she does it regularly. That's why I do it regularly. Okay, so now if you have a ball, what I love to do is twist the tissue. Your fascia really likes that. You can try it with your orange. Let me know how that goes, Kathy. I don't know. But if you don't have a ball, you can just take and kind of pinch the tissue a little bit and twist.
I tried an orange and I thought it felt a lot like the squishy ball. My orange was a little squishy.
Really? All right.
Yeah.
Cool. I can't hear you, Kathy. Here, let's. Do you know how to unmute yourself? There we go.
Yeah, the orange tangerine seems to be working just fine.
Awesome. I love it. Hey, that's resourceful. So, by the way, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook and you've got an orange in your house or tangerine, that can work. All right, so we're just twisting, twisting, twisting. Okay, and then we're going to twist on the other side. We're just twisting all over, and this just helps to free up your connective tissue. You actually have more connective tissue than muscle from your elbow down. It's pretty phenomenal how much connective tissue there is under your fingers, your forearm. Okay, so we're just going to twist, twist, twist all over your fingers, your hand, your forearm. Okay, and then we are going to promote some fluid movement, moving up toward our heart and coming back down. So we're just going to take our ball and we're just going to move it down the back of one hand, just like this. Okay. All the way across your fingernails. I just love how this feels. Good, good. All right, and then we're going to take our ball and we're going to just roll it up and down along our chest. This could get a little interesting with the orange. I'm not sure how it'll work, but if you don't push too hard, hopefully it won't squish. You'll have essence of orange all over your shirt. That's a nice smell. All right, and then we're going to go across the muscles of the chest like this. Now, if you don't have a ball at all, then you can do some circles like this. Connective tissue really likes circles, just like we were doing with the ball. You can move the muscle tissue up and down, going across the fibers. And this works really well as also. We're going to target our pectoralis minor. So if you put your pointer finger just below your collarbone, and then put your ball right up just below your little finger, they're going to be right on the pectoralis minor. Okay, and we're just going to go up and down, side to side there. And we're just going to pause and breathe, letting that tissue adapt. So just putting a little bit of pressure right on that spot as you breathe helps it to release. What it does is it keeps blood flow from coming to the area for a short minute, or however long you hold it. And then when you move it away, it rushes back, and that helps to promote getting flow restored to the area. All right, so we're going to move to the other side. Go up and down across the muscle. And then we're going to do some circles all over that tissue. Getting the chest muscles loosened up really helps your neck a lot. You might even notice it kind of softening in the back of your head right now. It's okay if you don't. I'm very body aware because I've been doing massage work for people so long, and because I've just been doing these techniques for a long time, which means you get more in tune with your body. Okay, so let's find our pec minor. So again, point your finger just below the collarbone, and then you're going to put the ball right where your little finger is, right here on pectoralis minor. And what that muscle does when it's tight is it pulls down like this, pulls your shoulder down and forward, and then that puts strain on your neck, okay? And then that puts strain on your head and can create tension headaches. So oftentimes if you get a really bad headache just on one side of your head, people will call it a migraine, but it's more likely related to connective tissue, like a pattern of the connective tissue reacting to some way that you're using your body on a regular basis, or possibly an emotional response that hasn't fully cleared, like the tension of it hasn't fully cleared. When it tends to be global, the whole head, that's more of a standard migraine kind of deal. So it's on one side, it's a really bad headache, but not necessarily what we would term a migraine per se, but it does get called a migraine all the time. But the good news is if it's more just on one side, then the good news about that is by doing myofascial techniques, either having them done hands-on, doing them yourself with different balls or oranges or Nerf footballs or whatever you've got, right, can make a difference, especially over time. So when people have a history of having headaches for a long time, now we're just going to take the ball, we're just going to do a little scribble, scribble, scribble all the way down. So just real light movements. It's just supposed to be really light, and this is stimulating your lymphatic system, which is going to help your immune system. Your lymphatic system is really important for your immune system. Also keeps the cells happy. They like river-like conditions, not swampy conditions. So just make sure you start on the chest, and then we're just going to work all over your arm, nice and light. We don't want this to be painful in any way. So I was saying, if you have a history of headaches that have been happening for years, then it can take years to reverse that, because there's a number of factors that happen. Number one, there's layers of tension that develop. And number two, and so those layers need to be peeled back like an onion. And then number two, what develops is a sensitivity in the nervous system. So something that in the past wouldn't have triggered a headache will, because it's like the nerves are more sensitive and the brain is more sensitive. And then when it reacts stronger and bigger than it used to in the past. That's why people often start out with, oh, I used to get a headache once in a blue moon, and then I started getting them once a month, and then I started getting them twice a month. And first Advil and ibuprofen helped, and then pretty soon I was on really strong medication that, it tends to build, and that can be interrupted by doing the right type of hands-on techniques, manual techniques with a therapist skilled in helping people with that, and also using soft tools to help release the tissue yourself, and doing it on a daily basis to help counteract those years of patterns that are not helpful in the body. Okay, so let's check in. Let's just check in. Let's see what has changed, if anything, from what we've done so far. So we're just going to bring our hands together, and then we're going to let them drop back. And then we're going to press in and turn under. Okay, just notice what you feel. You might notice feeling looser right now. A lot of people notice that. And even if you had pain before and now it's a little bit less, that's good. It's a good sign. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and turn our head and just see if anything changed. Give me a thumbs up or a wave if you notice a change. Could have been a change in your wrists. Could have been a change in your neck, your head. All right. Cool. Yay. I see some thumbs up, some waves and happy faces. That's awesome. All right, me too. Okay, so this is one of my favorite little techniques that helps with headaches and stress. So you've got a acupressure point right here. All right, and what you're going to do is you're just going to press in. You can use your thumb. You're just going to press in, and you're going to push to the first barrier. Okay, so you're just going to press.
Closer up,
Yeah, absolutely. So you can see where the white mark was. It's going to be right here. Okay.
I can do this.
The web space. And when you press with your thumb, you don't want to push real hard, okay? You're just going to push lightly, just enough till you feel some pressure and you feel the tissue stopping the pressure. Then we're just going to take some easy breaths. And as we breathe, we're just going to notice how over time that tissue might let you go just a little bit deeper. If you have a little bouncy ball or even a marble, I like a bouncy ball because it's just a little softer. I like to use the ball, and the reason I like to use the ball is because now my thumb gets a break. My thumbs have to work hard because I'm a manual therapist. The thumb gets a break, and I'm getting some release to the tissue in the thenar eminence, we call it, just below the thumb. Okay, so I like being able to do it this way. But if you don't have a ball, it's okay. You can just use your thumb. All right, so as we're sitting here, I'm going to talk about transverse abdominis. Okay, so transverse abdominis, sorry, I have to plug in my computer. Just decided. And the cord is stuck. So transverse abdominis is a deep muscle in your abs, and it works with your lumbar multifidus, which are the little muscles in the trough between the big backstrap muscles here in your spine. So transverse abdominis works with lumbar multifidus. They're the deepest muscles near your spine, other than psoas, which is also a deep muscle on the front and side of your spine. So we have psoas, we have transverse abdominis, and lumbar multifidus, the deepest muscles close to the spine that are important for stability. And what tends to happen is, and we don't know all the reasons why, but we just know that it happens. And as I'm talking, as the tissue releases, just pick up the slack and go just a little bit deeper. Okay? So never force it, never push into pain. Just let it go just a little bit deeper. You never want to blast through barriers, just wait at the barrier until it softens, pick up the slack, feel and follow. And that's going to be the best way to get releases in your fascia. Some people feel releases in their head and neck just from doing this. And it does help calm the nervous system. So, if your transverse abdominis and lumbar multifidi turn off, which they do turn off if you ever have back pain. So if you ever have back pain, they're going to turn off. And if you don't know how to turn them back on, they're going to stay sleepy. And if they stay sleepy, then your iliopsoas is going to kick on, which is a deep muscle on the front of your spine. And it's going to take over and try to stabilize your spine. But it's more compressive. It wasn't designed to be doing the job of those other two muscles plus its own job. Okay, let's go ahead and switch sides. So use your thumb if you want, right in that web space. Or if you have a small ball, you can put it there. Use the pad of your thumb on the other hand to press the ball in. Okay, so if your iliopsoas is taking over for two other muscles, doing its job plus the job of other muscles, then it's going to get exhausted. And when muscles get exhausted, then fascia takes over. This fascia is like the secondary stabilizer. And it is compressive and tightens. And so people that are always saying, oh, I've got tight hamstrings, a lot of times they actually have a taut psoas that's taut because it's exhausted. All right? Or people are like, I'm always saying, I need to stretch my hip flexors. They're always tight. Actually, their hip flexor is exhausted. That's why it feels tight. And what they need to do is learn how to strengthen their core appropriately. And the reason I'm talking about this in a neck seminar and a headache seminar is that if your core, which is your transverse abdominis and lumbar multifidi, are two of the key parts of your core, if they're sleepy and if they're weak, then you're going to have headaches and you're going to have neck pain from your neck trying to do the job of your core, along with your iliopsoas. So anytime someone comes to me with headaches or neck pain, I always do things to actually help strengthen their core, because that's what's going to keep those headaches and that neck pain from coming back. All right, so now just notice if the ball has been able to sink a little deeper. Notice if your thumb's been able to sink a little bit deeper into that little pressure point. And you might notice on one side a release in your head when you're doing it on one side versus the other. Sometimes that happens to people. Okay. All right. We're going to move on. So I want to do some techniques to your legs so that you can see how that affects your neck and your head before we do some more specific techniques to the shoulders and upper back. So I want to go over what to do with your rolling pin slash massage stick. If you don't have a massage stick and you have a ball, you can use the ball. The ball works pretty well. And if you don't have a ball, then you can use your hand, okay? So if you have a ball, we're gonna start with the inner thigh, okay? And we're just gonna do some circles. I'm gonna scoot back so you can see my legs. We're gonna do some circles just above our knee and a little up and down like side. If you have a ball, then you wanna use the ball. If you have a massage stick, we're just gonna do some little movements like this, okay? So instead of doing long strokes, like I see a lot of people do, that has minimal effectiveness. By doing this pressure on, pressure off stuff like this, then that stimulates glycosaminoglycans and fibroblasts that are part of your connective tissue matrix that help pull fluid into the matrix so it can slide and glide better. We're all about trying to improve your slidability and your glideability, okay? Slidey gliding means better mobility. So you can see I'm just kind of doing this pressure on, pressure off thing, and I'm keeping it pain-free. It should feel like pressure, not pain. Okay, and then I'm going to go above my knee. If you're using a ball, that's fine. You can use a ball. What's kind of nice about having the OPTP mini ball or maxi ball is that it travels well. It doesn't take up a lot of space. And these massage sticks are nice too because they aren't very heavy and they don't take up much space either. Okay, I'm going to go over to the outside. Again, just doing this pressure on, pressure off stuff. And another thing to know is there's all kinds of little hacks when it comes to massage. So if you can improve the blood flow and the fluidity of the tissue at the ends of the muscles, so at each of the spots where it sort of attaches on the bone, then you're not going to have to do as much work in the middle, okay? So we're going to come down where it attaches right here. So the inner thigh muscles all attach right down here, just below the knee. So we're just going to come down on that, and it might be tender. And don't think that by pushing through the pain, it's going to be better. Okay, so don't push through pain. You don't have to lift your leg up. I'm just doing it so you can see where I'm at. All right, do not push through pain. It should feel like pressure, not pain. Trust me, if you're pushing into pain, you're going to be sore later, and you're going to be wondering what you did to yourself. All right, just should literally just feel like pressure, okay? And I do really like the ball for going all around the kneecap. It's nice. So if you've got a ball, you can do circles all around your kneecap. And especially above it, and it's going to really help free up your knee. Circles all around. You can also do the twisty stuff that we were doing earlier because there's lots of connective tissue around your knee. I can't tell you the number of clients that come to me and say, I think I have arthritis in my knee, you know, because it hurts. And they tell me their whole little story, and they tell me what's going on, and I say, well, okay, you might, but it's probably not your main issue. Your main issue is probably you've got stuck connective tissue. We release that stuck connective tissue, your knee pain's going to go ahead. And they look at me like, no, I think I have arthritis. Yeah, I think I'm just old and decrepit. Like, well, you might be old, but you don't have to be decrepit. Okay, so I'd just like to say you've had a few more trips around the sun than me. That's all. So we're going to go up really high. Okay, so now I'm working really high up on the inner thigh with my ball, or you can use your massage stick. You can get up really high. Okay. All right, so anyway, I say, you know, you might be old, but you don't have to be decrepit, and we teach them how to do these techniques, and their knee pain goes away, and they look at me like, oh, maybe I don't have arthritis. And they say, well, maybe you do, maybe you don't. But we know that over 50% of people that have arthritis on a hip x-ray do not have pain. So just because your x-ray shows that you have arthritis doesn't mean that's what's causing your pain. That's what we know, over 50%. But what happens a lot is people have knee pain, the doctor does an x-ray, goes, oh, you have arthritis, oh, you're old. Yep, well, it's just gonna ache, here's some pills, right? But there's better solutions than that. Okay, so now we're gonna do quad. So you can just work at the top of that quad. I like to have my legs straight like this because we put the tissue on slack when it's straight. So you'll be able to get a better result. If you don't have a rolling pin or a massage stick, then you can use a ball. If you don't have a ball, you can just rub in circles. Circles are better than up and down. Doing circles is kind of similar to that pressure on, pressure off stuff. And it's the basis for a technique called triggering, which is a massage technique. And it was, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong on this, but a story sticks out in my mind from physical therapy school. They're teaching us about this technique where you do these circles, right? And then I know they do some kind of like bouncy type of stuff where you're bouncing the tissue, okay, which is similar to vibration, right? And if I remember correctly that this is the right person, I know for sure this story is correct. I'm not sure if I'm associated with the right technique, but there was a person who developed a myofascial release technique who, so we've done both ends, now let's just do right in the middle. So she, back in the day, when if you had sciatica and it was really bad, then they would just amputate your leg. So there was a time when that's what they did. And so she had super bad sciatica, and she was like, I can't deal with this anymore. Goes to the doctor, he's like, well, we can amputate your leg. And she's like, not ready for that. And so she just started rubbing. She did a lot of rubbing, circles all around her hip and her back. And wouldn't you know it, the pain went away. And then that was the foundation of her technique that she started doing that we still use today. All right, so now if you have a massage stick or if you have a rolling pin, you can go on the back of your leg. And again, we're going to just target down by the knee first. And I like to kind of catch it this way on the edge, on the inside edge and on the outside edge. And again, we're just doing that pressure on, pressure off. If you have a ball, you can just do your ball. Just doing circles, okay? Then we're gonna go up. So you'll notice you don't have to spend a long time. I scooted to the edge of my chair and I'm just going at the top of that hamstring is what it is. The hamstring and the glutes attached, okay? And you can also do the middle. I like to also take a ball. If you have a soft ball, I don't think this is going to work with your orange, Kathy. You'll see why in a minute. You take a ball and you put it right. So you're going to find your sits bone that you sit on, okay? You're going to put it right below that. You're going to take your ball and put it there, okay? And then I'm going to skip back so you can see. You're going to move your leg in and out. And that moves the ball under that tissue. If you have a pool noodle, it works pretty well for this. Okay, and if you have a little bit larger ball, it works pretty well as also. And you're just moving your leg in a kind of a swiveling pattern. Feels really good. This happens to also help lower back issues. You can move it to the middle of your inner thigh, back of thigh. You're just going to move it in and out like that. Okay? So let's do the other side. Let's go through all of that on the other side. So if you have your rolling pin or stick, you're going to do some work just above the knee and on the inside. If you don't have one of those, you can use a ball. And again, remember, we're just doing pressure on, pressure off. And it needs to not be painful. We don't want it to be painful. Just pressure. Just looking for pressure, not pain. Okay? Working the inside of the leg is more important than working the outside of the leg, even if you feel the stiffness and pain here. Because oftentimes the stiffness and pain that you might feel on the outside of your knee is actually because of weakness in your glutes. And when you have weak glutes, what happens is your leg falls in because of the weakness here. Like imagine this is strong, it's gonna hold my leg in place, right? If it's weak, my knee falls in, okay? If my knee falls in, you can see this gets taut. People think it's tight because it feels tight, but it's actually on tension, okay? And all this stuff got short, and got short and stuck together. So we have to release this stuff. We need to strengthen this stuff. But we can give a little attention to the victim, that's fine. But if all you're doing is always doing IT band rollouts and stuff like that, asking your massage therapist to work on your IT band, you're probably missing the real cause. Okay. All right, so let's get down below the knee on that attachment site for all those inner thigh muscles. And you can use a ball if that's what you've got. Okay, and then we're going to go to the hamstring back here. So you'll notice I'm kind of jumping around. I'm not necessarily doing one muscle in any particular order. So in this time, last time I did inner thigh, then I did quad, then I did hamstring, which you can do, or you can just release everything around the knee and then work your way up. Either one's fine. The point is, you really can't hurt yourself with this as long as you don't push into pain. We're going to use our ball. We're going to do circles around the kneecap if you've got a ball. This feels amazing if you have a soft ball. Or apparently an orange. Apparently oranges work quite well. All right, we're going to go back and forth across the top of your kneecap. And then take and twist the fascia all around your knee. I love telling this story. It was from a class a couple weeks ago. Somebody who attended the class, I was talking to her on the phone later because she had some questions for me. And she mentioned that she had had this knee pain that had gotten as bad. It was an 8 out of 10, she said. All right, we're going to go up high on the inner thigh. So she had this knee pain that was 8 out of 10. And so she watched this little class and saw what we were doing with the ball. And she thought, well, it can't hurt. So she tried it. And then she said, my pain went down from an 8 out of 10 to a 1 out of 10. She said, I couldn't believe it. She said on the phone, she said, I said to myself, what is this magic? And, it's not exactly magic. It's very scientific, but it's definitely magical. So that was pretty cool to hear. And I get stories like that all the time. What I love is in the melt class when someone comes in with neck pain and we do techniques with the roller to their hips and their legs, and then their neck pain goes away. And they look at me like I'm a magician. It's pretty fun. All right, so we're going to go just above the knee, and we're going to work those hamstrings. You can use a ball if that's what you've got. Again, just that pressure on, pressure off stuff. Okay, and then we're going to go up high. Pressure on, pressure off. Remember, we're just stimulating glycosaminoglycans and fibroblasts. Pull fluid into our connective tissue matrix so it can slide and glide better. All right. And don't forget to touch on the middle. All right, let's do a quick little touch in on the calves. We're not going to do a lot. There's so much you could do. To get the inside, get the middle, get the outside. So get the middle, outside, inside. So there's more you can do, but we're running low on time, so I'm going to move through that quick. All right, let's go ahead and check in. Let's just see if anything loosened up in our neck. Just notice if anything feels better in our shoulders, wrists, hands. You may or may not notice a difference now. You might notice more of a difference later, just feeling better through your whole body. Give me a thumbs up or a little wave if you're noticing a difference. Give me a smile. Give me something, yeah? Cool. Cool, cool. All right. So let's talk about cupping the knee real quick. So we like to use coconut oil for that. It works really well and it's not expensive. I'm going to scoot back so you can see my knees. So you're going to put a little bit on, lather it around on your knee, and you can adapt these techniques to any part of your body. And if you get pain in your wrists or hands or shoulders, if you get headaches, then it's good to release your forearms using cupping. There's actually a point here in your forearm that's related to your transverse abdominis and your core. Getting this released helps this to function better. It's pretty wild. You can make your core stronger by releasing your arm. All right, so we're going to take our silicone cup and you push your thumbs into it like this. Okay, so that creates the suction. And you can get this for like 20 bucks on Amazon, and the best kit that I found is on my website under recommendations, products. You can find the kit so you know what sizes to get and everything. It's good to actually have a towel on hand. I forgot to do that. So I'll have slippery fingers. But you're going to take and you're going to roll, or you're going to pull on that tissue using your cup. And it should feel like not more than, on a scale of 0 to 10 with discomfort. Cupping is more uncomfortable than the stuff that we're doing with the ball. But on a scale of 0 to 10, we don't want it to be more uncomfortable or painful than a 5 out of 10. So if it's more painful than that, you need to back off, because you could damage the tissue by using too much suction. You just want to make sure you don't do suction over blood vessels or superficial nerves. So you don't want to use a lot of suction like right over this area, because the nerve is more superficial for your median nerve, which is the nerve involved in the carpal tunnel. It's okay to do some suction here, but it should be very, very gentle. So what I'm going to do is, as I'm cruising around my kneecap, I'm looking for spots that feel like speed bumps. So when I first go like right through here, it feels pretty good. But then I get down a little lower and it goes thunk, thunk. So it's like a speed bump in the tissue. So I just leave it on there. I'm going to leave it for a couple of minutes. I'm going to use another cup. I'm going to explore around it. Again, just looking for areas of speed bumpy type of stuff. And there's one right there, so I'm going to leave that on there. I've got some more little cups. This is so easy. You can do this at home. And I literally just told somebody in my Total Body Reboot Level 1 class last week about this, when she was having knee pain. I just told her about it, and I told her to watch the YouTube videos I have on hamstring and lower back, how to release pain and stiffness in your hamstring and lower back using cupping. So I just told her about that and told her to get the cups and try the same approach on her knee. It's pretty simple. You just roll it around, feel for a speed bump, leave it on the speed bump for a couple minutes, then move it around, it'll feel loose. That's it. And so I told her to do that. I told her she could do that if she wanted. So she did. And she came on, she said, "Oh my gosh, my knee feels so much better." She's like, "It feels great. Thank you for telling me about that." And so that's my little plug for that. It looks pretty funny, but it's really effective. And it's a great tool for recovery as well. So if you are an athlete who loves to, say, swim or surf, this is great for swimmers and surfers because they develop a lot of stiffness in their lats and the back of their shoulder and just fatigue. And so this can actually help reduce your fatigue in between workouts. You do a workout you know you're going to be sore from, do the cupping that day, and then the next day you'll have way less soreness and stiffness. It's pretty cool. That brings up a point about vibration. The best time to do vibration is after a workout, because that's when you're going to get the most bang for your buck as far as your time is concerned, because they've done research that vibration actually reduces soreness and stiffness that you would have after a workout. Because we know that when you exercise, soreness and stiffness is just part of the game. It's part of what happens when you're getting stronger. So your body adapts to that and it becomes easy and simple, right? So for athletes, for training, vibration is key, for sure. So you just leave these on here for a couple of minutes, anywhere where there's a speed bump. So I just moved, this one was the first one I put on, I moved it down to another spot where there had been a speed bump. This is powerful stuff. Another thing that's really good for people with knee, so most of the time when I see someone in the clinic and their knee is bothering them, often they're not getting their knee all the way straight, okay? So they can't get it all the way straight, usually because of stiffness. So all the stuff that we did earlier with the stick and with the ball is gonna help with that. But another thing that many people with knee problems need to do is they need to stretch. And they need to do it in a specific way that's gonna promote getting that knee all the way straight again. Because if their knee isn't getting all the way straight, then they're wearing out the joint with the way they're walking. So if I had 2 chairs here, I'd show you with 2 chairs. But I think you'll be able to see if I just put my foot up on here. So people with knee problems where they can't get their knee all the way straight, I just have them sit where they have 2 things that are about the same height, and they just need to hang out like this for 3 to 5 minutes every day. And over time, that starts to help get that knee straightened out again. And it's really important, and it's not too hard to do. You can easily do it at your watching TV or at your desk at work. Okay. So that's just, one example of what you can do with these cups right around the knee joint. It can make a really big difference. And just to give you an idea, this is terrific right on those tight spots in our upper traps where a lot of us hold tension. Just put a little bit of the lotion on there. Grab these. This is like magic for that. Just makes it soften out like a baby. Baby tissue. Makes you look a little bit like a football player though. But I would recommend, again, even if it feels good, just leave it on there for a couple minutes at a time. Okay. And if it doesn't stick, you probably don't have enough lotion on there. Okay. So I just got them on there, and it feels so good, and you feel it pulling all the way up into your head. I didn't put any lotion on this side, so it's not sticky. But you'll feel it pulling all the way up because your upper trapezius muscle is this really big muscle, and it starts on the back of your head, okay? And it goes down and it attaches all the way down here, and then it also attaches over here. Okay, so it's like 4 triangles, kind of. And so the cupping is really great for relieving that muscle holding that tends to happen on the upper trapezius. And then that can help relieve headaches because, again, upper trapezius is attached up here. Okay. So in some of my previous classes, I've taught some techniques that we can do up against the wall to relieve pain and stiffness in your levator scapulae, which is a common culprit causing neck pain, causing headaches, in your rhomboids, and all around your spine and rib heads and your back. Feels awesome. So I've got more to teach you in another class because we're just about out of time. I can't believe how fast this time flies. It's just so fun to teach you guys and share some of the little tricks that I've learned. I've definitely got more to share, so stay tuned. Every time that I teach one of these sort of body part specific classes, there's something new because there's just so much to teach. There's so much for you to learn. So I have people that literally have been coming to my classes since I started my practice in 2012, and they just say, I come every week because I always learn something new. And that's because I'm always learning something new, and I want to pass it along to you. So we're here to help you make a good decision about your health. If you have any questions about maybe next steps, maybe you're feeling, concerned about something and you're not sure what to do, I am happy to answer those questions, listen to your story, give you some pointers on things you can start doing right away. And something that's very important to me is helping empower you to start moving the needle on your own as much as possible. So we have many people that start their journey with us by being a part of our online Zoom classes, because that's a way for them to have some accountability, to move the needle a little bit each week, be a part of a positive community of other people trying to do the same thing, and also get some feedback on how they're doing from me. If maybe their technique's a little bit off with something that we're doing, if it's a little bit more technical, because sometimes you're following along on Facebook or YouTube and you think you're doing it right, but maybe not so much, right? So most of the things that we did today are pretty straightforward, but as we get into doing some of the other techniques and as we do some of the other classes, technique becomes more important. So anyway, thanks for joining on YouTube and on Facebook. So happy that you took the time on a Saturday. Shows that you really value your health. If you have any questions, maybe you have neck pain, maybe you have shoulder pain, and you'd like to just learn a little bit more about what you could do about it, I've written some free reports just to give you a little bit more information and help you figure out your next steps. So you can always reach out and ask for a free report on whatever your issue is, whether it's a chronic pain or any body part, any body area. Okay. So thank you all again for watching. I'm going to do a little Q&A with the people that are on the Zoom class. And if you'd like to know how you could get on a Zoom class for the next time, then just go to my website, go to the calendar, and you'll be able to sign up there. Okay? All right. So thanks for coming. I'm going to say goodbye to social media, and we'll have a little Q&A with the Zoom group. Bye for now, everyone.